Plates ready? This is Food School, Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast. Want to feel amazing, love the way you look in the mirror, and perform your absolute best in the gym, at work, and in life? You're definitely in the right place. Food. It's you. It builds every single cell of you. And if there is one thing every human being must master, it's food. Because at the very least, eating, you do it every day, several times a day, every single day. You might as well get good at it. I'm your host, Shurina from createyourself.today, your personal nutritionist and plate watcher, your diet guide and explorer, your fat loss coach and food inspector. And just someone with a lot of passion and obsession and curiosity for healthy food, healthy diets, nutrition, optimized human performance, everything and absolutely anything you put in your grocery shopping cart, your fridge, on your plate, and in your mouth. It's my business. Food School, on a mission to help you eat better daily.
It's the last time I talk about food. It's the last time I talk about food.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast. And today, as I promised, we will be talking about bad habits and how to eliminate those habits and how to get good habits. And this conversation not gonna go as you might expect it to go, like me giving you some recipe for bad habits. A lot of discovery is gonna be done today here. So stay tuned. And I'd like to start with a client of mine who reaches out to me from time to time to get my advice, my best strategies, my best tools on whatever problem with his lifestyle he encounters. And it can be, different things. It can be nutrition, it can be sometimes fat loss, it can be sometimes muscle gain, and it can be sometimes sleep and drinking problem. So he reached out to me and told me that he wanted to talk about bad habits and particularly drinking. And so when we started talking, he told me that he started drinking at night. Not at night, actually, in the morning before going to bed. So he switched his jobs and now he's working night shift. And he works from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. and then he needs to go home and go to bed ideally, right? But he found himself in a situation where he couldn't go to bed. And he started drinking vodka tonic to calm himself down and to fall asleep. But before we get further, guys, alcohol does not make you sleep well. Alcohol knocks you out, but the sleep quality actually suffers, and it suffers a lot, and it's confirmed by all the data from all the trackers, from all the people who have some sort of sleep tracker. So, and even studies done in a lab all confirm that when you drink alcohol, you might get unconscious faster, but your sleep quality, especially deep sleep, really suffer, and so you don't really recover well, especially your brain. And so we started talking about his drinking, and he wanted my advice on how he can stop this bad habit. And once I found out why it was happening, like he never had this problem before he changed his work to a night shift. So instead of talking about drinking, we actually started talking about strategies to help him to relax and fall asleep faster. Because if he can manage to do that, there would be no drinking problem. And so we instead discussed best sleeping strategies that he can do to relax faster, to feel sleepy faster, to fall asleep faster, and to have the best quality of sleep. So he's now trying it all out, and let's see how it goes. But I have a feeling so it's gonna go well. Because once we identify the problem that is actually causing our bad habits, the real cause, and once we address that cause, eventually it's gonna get better, and eventually that bad habit that you thought you had problem with will disappear. So again, in this case, the problem wasn't the drinking. The problem was inability to go to bed in those inappropriate for a human body times. And so that's the problem that we addressed, not the drinking. And so now back to bad habits and how this story relates to the beginning of our conversation about bad habits. A lot of time, guys, you need to figure out first and foremost, like, what's the real cause of this habit that you are doing and that you'd like to get rid of. Also realize that there are no bad habits, there are no good habits. All habits serve you in some capacity. So the first thing you gotta figure out, you gotta ask yourself this question: what good does this habit do for me? Like, let's say drinking, right? It might not do good in the long term, but for our brain, for our body, it seems like a solution to our bigger problem that we can't fall asleep at all without it, right? So whatever that habit you don't want in your life, understand first and foremost that it serves something good, it solves some problem in your life, and you got to figure out what that problem is, what the core issue is. Like, a lot of people that come to me, a lot of my clients, they are struggling with eating at night, and the true problems here is people do not get enough rest, they get too much stress and not enough sleep, not sleeping at appropriate times, inability to relax and recover without food. Those are the real problems, and those are the challenges that we need to address, not the overeating part. Because once you sleep enough and once you know how to manage your stress without food, the food thing disappears. That's for like 90% of the people at least. To give you an example of why you need to figure out the real problem behind the habit that serves you in some way, that solves some problem, but also that doesn't serve you in some way and doesn't allow you to get the results, better results that you want in your life, be that health or weight or energy levels or your muscle building efforts or your fitness levels or whatever that can be. So first, with habits, you need to figure out what causes that habit. What's the real problem that you are solving with this habit? Because again, each habit, no matter whether you call it bad or good habit, it solves some problem. It gives you a solution to something. So the first step is to figure out what's the problem that bad habit solves. And once you figure out that problem you can address with a new solution. And for that habit that you consider to be negative habit at the moment, second thing, you need to figure out the substitution for that habit. Our brain is very bad at eliminating things because your brain builds those pathways that is accustomed to, and that's why it's so easy for you to follow the pattern, to do the same thing over and over again, because your brain literally builds up the path along which neurons fire faster, and it's more efficient in terms of energy for your brain to fire neurons along this pathway. And that's why things that you do consistently, they tend to become easier. And you can use it for good, or you can use it obviously for bad when it comes to negative habits. But using it for good means, for example, exercising every day. Like right now, I cannot imagine myself without exercise every day. That's how conditioned my brain is. And it's not about forcing myself to do exercise, not at all. It's easier for my brain to do the thing than not to do it. So number two, you need to substitute that, like, the best way to reinforce that pathway is, without having to destroy it and making it easier for you to adopt new habit, forgetting the old one, is to substitute this old habit, negative habit, with something similar, something that is more positive, something that you do at the same time, or something that, again, that is very easy for your brain to switch to. So for example, if you want to stop eating junk food at night, that's when a lot of people feel the urge to eat the worst food ever, and that has physiological reasons too. But if you want to stop eating junk food at night, don't say I'm not eating after 6 p.m. because that's not going to be easy, guys. It's not. Instead, start eating vegetables and tuna. Like, this is the simplest example, because tuna has protein, vegetables, maybe a spoon of olive oil. That's a filling, healthy food that will fill your stomach. You'll be chewing, you'll be doing the same kind of activity that your brain is accustomed to, but you also will be eating foods that are nutritious, that are much better for you than junk, and that will move you closer towards maybe one day even not eating late at night, right? So instead of eliminating, the first step is to substitute it with something better, with something a little bit better. And the best way to do it is to come up with something that is very similar. So again, instead of eating some junk food, start eating some healthy foods. Number 3, make good habit or better habit obvious, and make bad habits or negative habit that you'd like to stop impossible. So make good habits obvious, make bad habits impossible. What do I mean by that? Let's take, again, eating junk, for example, right? So making good obvious, meaning putting nuts and seeds, vegetables, fresh fruit, cans of tuna on the table, really visible around your kitchen. My latest obsession, flaxseed crackers. Put some flaxseed crackers in a beautiful plate or jar on the table where you usually snack. So make healthy choices are really obvious and really easy to get. Maybe pre-cut avocados, veggie sticks, put them in your fridge and make it really like the first thing that you see are those avocados and veggie sticks. Pre-boil some eggs so they're ready to eat whenever you feel the urge to eat something. So make healthy stuff as easy, as obvious as possible. And then make bad habits impossible. So for example, if you always reach out for that bag of cookies in your house at night, then why in the first place do you have cookies in your house? Like, nobody needs cookies. It's not a nutrition requirement. If your kids or your family need cookies, well, they can eat their cookies at work at some other time, on special occasions. Nobody needs additional sugar and additional junk food. Like, it's not an emergency. Like, the world is not gonna end tomorrow. You're not gonna die. Your loved one's not gonna die. They're actually gonna do better. So make unhealthy choices like almost impossible. So leave them at the store, and whenever you decide consciously that you want to eat something sweet, then go out to that store and at least make yourself do that work. And maybe on the way there, you're gonna change your mind, but at the very least, you're gonna take a walk, right? So that's what I mean by making good obvious and making bad almost impossible. You wouldn't believe how well it works. I remember when I stayed in Sochi at some point, I had an apartment on the top of the hill, and the store, any food store was down that hill. So anytime I would feel the urge to eat something unhealthy, at that point I still had this urge sometimes to eat something sweet, some pastry or something. But I had this rule that I never keep it in my apartment. And so whenever I had this urge, I thought about all the work I have to do to get it, like go down the hill. And the hill was steep, guys. It wasn't like, I don't know, 30 degrees, not 30 degrees, but I don't know, like 10 degrees incline. It was like really steep. It was some sort of exercise. I didn't know that there was such a hill when I rented the apartment. because I'm not such a huge enthusiast anyhow. So every time I had the urge to eat some cookies, I remembered that those cookies were down the hill, and I would have to go down the hill and then up the hill. Only after that I could have them. And so many times, like countless times, it stopped me from getting anything because it was just too much work. And for my brain it was easier to just go to bed or to rest and wait for another day than to get those cookies at that time, because I wasn't starving. And so that you wouldn't believe how well it works. So make the good habit obvious and make bad habit impossible. And again, you wouldn't believe how easy it is to quit bad habits when you make it that way. So to sum it up, guys, number one, figure out the true reason behind your habit that you'd like to stop. What problem does this habit solve? Like, really, what is good about keeping that habit? Does it help you to rest and to disconnect from everything and to kind of numb yourself to any stresses in your life? Does it allow you to fall asleep better? Does it lift your mood? Maybe you feel depressed all the time for some reason or stressed, and that cookie, that chocolate, it helps you to feel better. And for your body feeling not stressed, it's a huge issue. So how does this habit serve you? Like, what problem does it solve? Figure it out. And then once you know the true issue, the true problem that your body, your brain are trying to solve, then you can address it with better strategy. So the next strategy is to substitute that habit with a better one. Even if it's a little bit better, it's still a step forward. So for example, instead of eating junk at night, start eating healthy food at night. Don't say yourself, I'm just going to starve myself. That's a bad solution to this particular problem. And then third one is make good obvious, make bad impossible. So make good new habits really easy to do. Make a setup your environment so it's easy for you to do that new habit, that new better habit, and then make bad habit almost impossible. So that's how you really solve bad habits. And there are quite a few other strategies that I share with my clients, as with anyone who asks my advice. Depending on each individual case, something might work better or worse for you, but these three, they across the board work the best from my personal experience. So do them. If you have any questions, if you'd like my quick express advice on your nutrition, on your exercise program, on your sleep routine, on your sleep remedies that can help you to sleep better, to fall asleep better, better workout routine to get to the results you want, better nutrition routine to eliminate cravings, or to where to start eating better. Do you want my analysis on your current diet? Like, is it bad? Is it good? Should you change it? Should you keep it? Anything. Feel free to schedule your free express session with me following the link in the show notes. Use the strategies to get better habits that serve you all the way, not just in some way making other aspects of your life worse or more difficult. And as usual, guys, thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate your attention, your time, your feedback that you are giving to me and to my podcast. And as usual, till next time, eat better daily.